Let's talk about writing linear equations for the real world. An arcade charges 25 cents per token. Jamie bought 40 tokens and spent a total of $12.50 on admission and tokens. There was no tax. Jamie is going back to the arcade this weekend. Write an equation to represent the arcade's cost. So we have a bunch of things going on in this problem. What we're going to do is we're going to choose variables to represent each one of them. So the amount that a person gets charged at the arcade is going to depend on the number of tokens they purchase. So I'm going to say T is equal to the number of tokens. I'm going to say C is equal to the total cost. And that total cost comes from the tokens and an admission fee. So I'm going to say A is equal to the admission fee. Okay, so now we're going to try to set up sort of an equation. My total cost, C, is going to be equal to the cost of the tokens plus that admission fee, which we said was A. Well, the cost of the tokens is 25 cents per token. So I can replace that cost of tokens with 0.25t. So that gives me C is equal to 0.25t plus A. Now we can take Jamie's specific case, plug those values in, and solve for A. So we'll write our equation out. And now we can plug in Jamie's cost of $12.50 and his number of tokens, 40. So $12.50 is equal to 0.25 times 40 plus A. Let's go ahead and multiply that 0.25 times 40. So that gives us $12.50 is equal to 10 plus A. And then we can solve for A by subtracting 10 from both sides. So our cost of admission is $2.50. So now we're going to go back to that equation we have at the top. C is equal to 0.25t plus A, and we're going to replace that A with 250. So the equation we can use to find the cost at the arcade is C is equal to 0.25t plus 250. So if we know how many tokens someone is going to purchase, we can plug that in for T and find their total cost. Let's try another example. A moving company charges a $75 moving fee plus an hourly rate. Chastity spent $3.75 for a 6-hour move. There was no tax. Write an equation to represent the moving company's costs. So we know that the cost of moving is going to depend on how long the move takes. So I'm going to say H is equal to the number of hours. Well, that number of hours gets multiplied by some rate, and they didn't tell us the rate. So I'm going to say the rate is equal to R. So R equals the hourly rate. And then we'll say C is equal to the total cost. So let's try to write an equation. So the total cost is going to be equal to the sum of the moving fee and the amount you're charged for your hours. So C is going to equal R times H plus that moving fee. If we take the hourly rate and multiply it by the number of hours, that's going to give us that first part plus the moving fee. We know the moving fee is $75, so let's go ahead and plug that in. So the cost is going to equal the rate times the hours plus 75. Now we can take Chastity's specific case and plug it in and try to solve for that hourly rate. So let's write our equation. C is equal to R times H plus 75. Well, we know Chastity spent $375 and that the move was 6 hours. So we can plug in $375 for C and 6 for H. So 375 is equal to R times 6 plus 75. Let's go ahead and subtract 75 from both sides. So now we know 300 is equal to 6R. Okay, we want to get that R by itself, so we're going to divide both sides by 6. And that's going to give us 50. So our hourly rate is $50 per hour. So we can go back to that equation and plug in R. So the cost is going to equal 50 times H plus 75. And we can use that equation to find the cost of moving given any number of hours.